Joining me in the studio is a scientist who was part of the team working on that census of marine life. Gritta Veit-Köhler is an expert on the biodiversity of the deep sea. Welcome. Now, as we saw in that report, you still have a lot of work to do analyzing those samples. What have been the main results so far?
The main results of the census of the diversity of abyssal marine life, which is a part of the census of marine life, was that we found already 500 new species. Those 500 new species are described, but there are many more species that are undescribed sitting on our shelves and waiting for publication.
Well, you've brought some pictures of a couple of the little critters that you found down there. Can you describe these guys a little bit and tell us what makes them so special?
Yeah, here we see some deep-sea copepods. Copepods are tiny little crustaceans. They are smaller than 1 millimeter in body size. And, for example, the red one, the second from the left side, is one where you can see from its body shape that it's burrowing in the sediment. The two animals on the right-hand side are swimming, like slightly over the sediment surface, and the animal in the middle is a very spiny, very spectacular new species.
How can you tell if you've found a new species? I mean, they're so small. It must be really difficult to determine or to distinguish between different critters.
Yeah, I personally work with animals that are only 0.3 millimeters in size. So it's really very difficult. Sometimes we have to dissect those animals under a stereo microscope. And sometimes it's only one spine at the third leg that makes a new species.
Your colleague in that report we just saw said that in some areas of the ocean, mapping biodiversity is a race against time. Do you think that race can be won?
It's difficult. To give you some numbers, in the Angola basin of southwestern Africa, we found in 2,000 individuals of those tiny copepods 700 species, 99% of them new. And those 700 species, this shows that every third animal is a new species. I mean, this is undescribable. Yeah. And yeah, it's difficult.
Spectacular numbers there. We actually know less about our oceans than we do about the moon. Why is that?
Well, there are two main reasons for that. First of all, funding. It is very expensive to go on expedition. One day on the Polarstern icebreaker, for example, costs 50,000 euro. And then it's, of course, very difficult to get the sediment undisturbed from the deep sea bottom. I mean, we are speaking about 5,000 meters depth. And the devices to get those samples are very complicated.
You know, you've been collecting samples for years. What, for you personally, was the most spectacular find that you discovered during the census?
Yeah, I'm working with those small copepods, and when I described one new species from the Antarctic from 5,000 meters depth, where there were only 2 individuals during the whole expedition, later, I could find it during this fantastic possibility that we had during the census of marine life. I found this animal in the North Atlantic and even in the Pacific Ocean. It's the same species, and this is amazing.
Wow, great stuff. Gritta Veit-Köhler, thank you very much for joining us here today.